What's up, everybody? This is Daily Mathematics again. Today, I want to go over example 2 of how to solve and graph inequalities, okay? How to solve and graph inequalities. This is a mathematical concept that is practiced in the 6th, 7th, 8th, and 9th grade for sure. So a lot of middle school students and high school students are practicing solving inequalities, okay? So I definitely want to go through this because this is a very, very important concept, okay? So once again, I don't want to take too much time. It's just like solving an equation. The first thing that I want to do is draw a fence through the inequality sign because I want to separate the room, okay? Okay, the next thing I need to do is I see that I have a distributive property. So I have to distribute this out and actually find out what I come out with, okay? So I see that on this side, I have a -5 times parentheses 4 minus 10x parentheses close. What I need to do is I need to multiply everything inside the parentheses by -5, okay? So the first thing I want to do is do -5 times 4, which is -20. Okay, the second one I want to do -5 times -10x, which is a positive 50x. It equals a positive 50x. Okay, so I have successfully distributed the right side of this inequality situation, okay? Everything on this side comes down the same. Okay, so now, ladies and gentlemen, I have the inequality after I distributed. I have the inequality of -20 plus x is less than or equal to -20 plus 50x. Okay, now what I want to do is I want to identify each value as a single value or a value that's a part of a relationship. Okay, so -20. If you notice, guys, -20, I don't see any variable attached to -20. So it's a single value. So I'm just going to put an S underneath. Okay? X, even though you see this X, is actually an imaginary 1 right here. So X is in a relationship with 1. So I'm going to put a heart because those two values are in a relationship, an operational relationship. On this side, -20 again is single, and 50 is in an operational relationship with X. So I'm going to put a heart under 50 and X because they are attached together, meaning that they are either multiplying or dividing. And in this case, they are multiplying because it's saying 50 times X, just like over here, it was saying 1 times X, okay? So now, ladies and gentlemen, what we need to do is we need to label both sides, okay? I always like to label the left side as the relationship side, but you can also label the right side as the relationship side if you choose to be. Just make sure that the opposite side is labeled as the single side. But I'm just going to go ahead and label this side as the relationship side. So this is the relationship side of the room. And then the opposite side will be the single side. Okay? So now all we're going to do, ladies and gentlemen, is just move the values to their appropriate side, okay? -20 is single. So -20 needs to move to the single side. So in order for us to do that, we have to do the inverse of -20, which is +20 or +20. So I got to add a +20 to both sides. A -20 and a +20 cancels out. And on this side, I have a -20, which is single and on the single side. So I'm going to have to add 20 to this -20 over here. And in this particular case, it's going to cancel out too. Okay, that is very, very unique. But in this particular case, it's going to cancel out as well. Okay, so now I'm going to bring everything else down. I still have 1x or x is less than or equal to 50x. Okay? Now, if you notice, 50x is in a relationship, but it's on the single side. So I need to move this over here, okay? So the opposite of saying positive 50x is a negative 50x. So I'm going to subtract 50x on both sides. That cancels out. X minus 50x equals a negative 49x. So I got negative 49x is less than or equal to, and in this case, we have nothing over here, so it's gonna just be 0. Okay? Because there's nothing on that side, it just is less than or equal to 0. Okay? So now, ladies and gentlemen, if you notice, there's a negative coefficient that's in a relationship with the variable, okay? Or in this case, x. So since the coefficient is negative, we have to do this one thing, which is flip the inequality sign. Flip the inequality sign. That is very, very important. So now let's flip this sign. So instead of it saying negative 49x is less than or equal to 0, now it's gonna say negative 49x is greater than or equal to 0. Okay? So we flip the sign. So now I have negative 49x is greater than or equal to 0. Okay? Okay, now, once again, we have to divide negative 49 away from x because remember their relationship was based on multiplication because it's actually saying negative 49 times x. So the relationship is based on multiplication, meaning that the breakup is the opposite of their relationship operation, which is division. So I'm going to divide both sides by negative 49. Negative 49x divided by negative 49 is just x, okay? And then any 0 divided by a number equals 0, okay? So 0 divided by negative 49 is 0. So my answer is x is greater than or equal to 0, okay? That's my answer. X is greater than or equal to equal to 0, okay? That's what that means, okay? So now, ladies and gentlemen, what we need to do is we need to draw a small number line. Once again, you don't have to draw a whole number line. Just draw a short line, and then whatever value x is being compared to, just put that value in the middle, and then you can just go up 1 or 2 values, and then go backwards 1 or 2 values. So go forward 1 or 2 values, go backwards 1 or 2 values. So if I go forward, that's 1, that's 2. If I go backwards, that's -1, that's -2, okay? So once again, guys, x is being compared to 0. So I'm going to put a circle on top of 0. And the top part of the inequality sign is saying that x is greater than 0. If I go to the left, that's all the values that are less than 0. So I must have to go to the right, which 1, 2, 3, 4, and so on, all of those values are greater than 0. But we're not done with the inequality yet. It also says that x is greater than 0 or equal to 0, right? It can either be greater than 0 or equal to 0. So because it can also equal to 0, possibly, I have to shade in the circle, which is over the value of 0, meaning that x could possibly be 0, okay? So I have to shade in that circle over 0, okay? So this right here, guys, represents the inequality of x being greater than or equal to 0. This is how you graph the inequality, okay? So let me just box that in as one of my answers. So once again, these are my answers. X is greater than or equal to 0, and then that is the graph version of my answer, okay? So once again, this is example 2 of how to solve inequalities. I will at least come out with 3 more examples this week. Thank you.